Hello, good evening. Mama Rangika Morty University එකෙන් මට ඇත්තට මුලින්ම මම මේ අක්ෂිකට සූති මේ තෑන්ක් කරන්න ඕනේ මාව මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකට ලින්ක් කරගත්තට මම ගැන පොඩි ඉන්ට්‍රොඩක්ෂන් එකක් දුන්නා. තින් මම දැනට මොරටු යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ ලෙක්චරර් කෙනෙක් විදිහට වැඩ කරනවා. මම ගොඩක් දරුවොත් එක්ක වැඩ කරපු කෙනෙක්. and දැනට මම NI National Institute of Education එකේ academic affairs board member කෙනෙක් විදිහට වැඩ කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක මම හිතන්නේ මම ගොඩක් education එකට ගොඩක් links තියෙන කෙනෙක් කියලා මට කියන්න පුළුවන්. and මම කියන්නේ ඒ දේවල් වෙනස් කරන්න ලෝකයේ ලංකාවේ education එකේ යම්කිසි විදියක direction එකක් set කරන්න පුංචි උත්සාහයක් දරන මිනිස්සෙක් කියලා මට කියන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් කෙනෙකුට මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පෝස්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතනින් එහා මම ඔයගොල්ලන් එක්ක ලයිව් ඉන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ටික වෙලාවක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න and to have a nice discussion with you. So if anybody wishes to send you a questions, you can type and send the message to me. So I'll be able to give my comments, or rather I'll be able to explain how I feel about it. Thank you. Well, the first question, if you are given the chance to change the education system in Sri Lanka, how would you do it? Well, I never think of, getting that particular opportunity because I don't want to go into this particular policy making thing. I'm a very small person and I'm always trying my best to do things based on what I can without, targeting which I never want to achieve. And also I'm a person who always satisfied with what I'm doing, and I don't want to do anything which cannot make me happy, make me satisfied. So I'm not going to go into that particular thing. So that is number one. But anyway, if anybody think of changing the education system in the country, I think the first thing we should target is to give the student a freedom to think, and let them to be with critical thinking and lateral thinking. I mean, nowadays the education system in the country, from the grade 1 to the universities even, I mean, it is all content based. I mean, people be with the content, they study the content, they will be basically I mean, when you go to the schools, you have different assignments, you have the syllabus, you have the subjects, and also more than that, I mean, all even if they go and play, it is an assignment. Let's say they went to the swimming pool to have a swim, it's an assignment. And if they really think of, say like we'll take art and tradition, or art and music, that's again an assignment. So I can't see the students have a free time. They have free times. Even the free time is a assignment. So they have slots. So you have the slot, you have to work with it, and that's it. So that particular system has to be changed. So let them to think laterally, let them to think openly, and come up. Let them to be with their beliefs. So that is what I'm going to do if I ever get the chance of at least proposing something to the education system. Let them to have free minds in their life. More than we give them the content, if we can give them the quality and the human values. So that is what we can think of changing the Sri Lankan education system. Because I mean, Sri Lankan students are real brainy. I mean, there's no other I mean, no doubt on it. Sri Lankan students are really brainy. I mean, take the people who goes to the foreign education, PhDs, MScs, even the undergraduate studies, they perform well, and they definitely keep the records and come back to the country. So Sri Lankan students are brainy. The problem is I mean, if you compare the Sri Lankan education 10, 15 years back and now, or rather when we were students and when the current situation, they have the content. I mean, they will go and search more and more the knowledge. But the problem is with this particular whole political and educational changes in the country. Now we are losing the quality, human qualities, values. So I think that is what we should inculcate in the education system. So if you can plant that again, I think we'll be able to make the education system better and better. I think I answered your question, Akshika. There's another question on to know about my patents. Yes, well, I currently own 7 patents, and almost all the patents are basically on sustainable development or towards sustainable development. Number one, no, the first patent I got is mud concrete block. It is something which I created out of soil. The idea is like this. I mean, if you take concrete, you have fine particles, you have sand particles, and you have gravel particles. So we are trying to I mean the same particles are present in the soil as well. So I tried my I wanted to use that particular concept and create something similar to concrete using soil. So that is what I tried, and I wanted to make it self-compacting, and the technology I wanted to make it a very simple technology. I mean, simple thing out of soil. So that is what I tried with mud concrete block. That was my first patent. And the second patent was a heat insulation system for flat slabs. You know, Sri Lanka is now urbanizing, and the urban population is going up and up. And because of that, the land scarcity in cities, mainly in cities, is a huge problem in the country. So people go for 6 5 lands, and they do the construction. And once they do the construction, they will lose the valuable land. That is basically after doing the house, you'll not be able to use that particular land. So idea is to have a roof slab and make it another working space. So that was the idea, and I got 3 patents for roof slab insulation. The first was a insulation system which was done using polyethylene polystyrene or polyethylene, some sort of insulation form. Then I converted the same for using bamboo, and later I removed all these sophisticated system, and I wanted to try out a grass or green roof stability insulation system. So that those are the 3 insulation systems which I got which I basically patented, and that is 3. And there were 4 on soil-based construction, mud concrete block. And then I developed another. Actually, I went another step ahead with mud concrete. I'm getting more and more questions, so I'll not be able to answer all these. But anyway, I'll try my best to answer almost all the questions sent by you. So the second was a mud concrete paving block. Then the third on mud. I mean, I explained 3 on slab insulation, and I have another 4 on mud based, mud concrete block, mud paving block. Then I wanted to have an in situ cast mud concrete wall, and for that I got the patent, and also I created another innovative formwork type. So for that I got another patent. So altogether I have 7 patents. And actually, when I say I got 7 patents, actually it is not the real truth, because we worked as a team, and I had a very actually I'm very fond of having my own family, research family. So all these innovations are basically belongs to everyone. So we worked as a team, and we created all these research and interesting work innovations with patents and all this stuff. I think I answered that particular point, and let me go to the next questions. An idea worth nothing if not, and we can find many students at universities who are having great ideas to solve problems, but those ideas just remains as wonderful ideas after only a handful are really implemented the solution. What are your thoughts on it, and do you see a sustainable solution for? Well, again, Well, if you answer to your point, Ganchit, uh, I mean, innovation is basically your attitudes. So if you are going to satisfy with money, you'll not be able to be with innovations. I mean, you have to understand. You have to first you have to set your satisfaction levels. I'm a person who always have my own satisfaction levels. That is not money. If you think of buying a good car, having a good house, and that is your satisfaction level. I think that is you're basically going away from is your innovative mind. So you have to be you have to set your targets, especially the satisfaction levels. So if you can change the attitudes of the students, and if you can think of think of living as a human than a robot, or if you can transfer from your automatic life to a human mode, then I'm very sure you can be a good innovator. So in very simple forms, don't ever think of I mean, I can't blame the people who goes and earn money. So that is their satisfaction. But if you are a real inventor, you have to set your satisfaction. And then also the other point is, you try as much as possible. I mean, don't ever stop at a place where you fail. So you should be able to go and invent and go and try out as much as possible. You fail 1,000 times, but you will be able to be successful with one time. So I mean, that is the life of a inventor. So if you can change, if you can make that particular habit in your mind, and also the attitudes, very important. I mean, nowadays I can't see that particular attitude with students. So they are not living in the world. I mean, they are living in very computer in a very very sort of a society. So if you want to be a good inventor, you have to be with people. You have to share. You have to communicate with them. So that, I mean, that is, I think, something which need to be inculcated in the students, and then only they will be able to continue what they started at the university or at the school to a level where you can go and get patented, and finally, if you think of marketing, you can go and do it. Dinet, yes, how do you balance the work with the family matters? I mean, it's an interesting question. I'm doing a lot of things in my life, but to tell you, I'm very happy with everything and each and everything I do in my life. So that is why that is how I am balancing my life. Because if I'm not happy with the things I'm doing, I'll not be able to balance my life. So that is number one. So I'm pretty much happy with what I'm doing in every day, and every aspects, and everywhere I go and work, I'm very much happy. So that is number one. And the other thing is the support given by my family and my friends. I think I'll not be able to come to this particular level if I'm not getting that particular backing at my home, and also where I mean, even my students. I mean, they are backing me. We are working as a family. My friends, my family. I mean, my family at this place, and my family at the university. So we are working as a single community, single family, so single group. Because of that, I came to this particular point. So I'll be able to manage everything. So I'm a good sportsman. I'm a photographer. I'm working with many national and private organizations, and I'm a lecturer. So I'm inventing many things. So I mean, I enjoyed doing everything. So I can't see a difference, or I can't see any issue with these activities. So in a way, it's something I built up from my school time. So the school also, I know it's something I did many. I was the head prefect. I was doing sports. I was doing my studies well, and I had a very social life there at the school and the town, and whenever I go, I have my social life. So I think that particular habit I got from the school, and I went to the university. There also I did the same as an undergraduate, and even after passing out. After joining as a lecturer, there again I started doing many things. I was working with university teachers associations, and many things. But I think I enjoyed each and every activity I do. So because of that, I managed to balance my private life and the other things. So if anybody feel like I should speak in English, you can just uh, put your question in Sinhala. I'll be able to answer you in Sinhala as well. Yes, Hasita, as an researcher, what advice would you give to undergraduates who hope to do research in future? I mean, I think I already answered that particular point. Uh, the advice, nothing new. You keep a winning. I mean, always work for the target. You work with a winning mind. That is very important. And make your attitudes towards that particular target. So always be with targets. But if you fail a target, you should be able to think of like simple example. Let's say you are going, you have a target of going to going Colombo. So if you have only one route, that is Gold Road, say from Kalutara to Colombo, you have to travel, and you have only one target. That is only only one path. That is Colombo, Kalutara Gold Road. But if that is the only way, only known road you have, if there is a block or something, some accident, I mean, nowadays we have protects here and there. So if there's a protect, you will miss up. You will not be able to go and achieve your target. I mean, that's what I'm always saying. You drive, you work, and you walk towards the target, but make sure you go and check all the lateral roads available. So if you have a problem in the path you are traveling, you should be able to access to the point from another route. So that is the message I could give to my students. I mean, if anybody wishes to do research, sometimes, I mean, if you know the final answer, you don't have to do a research, right? I mean, you research on something which you don't know. So when you're traveling, when you're achieving that particular target, I'm very sure you'll not be able to achieve with the way you plan. So you need to I mean, think of many other lateral possible ways to achieve the targets, and sometimes you will fail. Even that particular failure will be a good solution for another researcher. They will not follow the same path when they are doing also, when they are also finding the same answers for the same question. So always work with that particular winning attitude, but make sure you check, and you check all the possible lateral roads to achieve the target. So that is the message I could give you. If you think of, I mean, if you ask to give that to your students, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you can be with that, and also the attitudes, that is very important. I mean, you have to work with a very open-ended mind. I mean, you can't stick to one particular target, right? You can't stick to one particular thing when you are doing research. You have to think. You have to explore all the possible ways to achieve that particular target. I think I answered your point. What is this consideration? What do you consider at the outcome for your next innovation? Well, Dinet, I think you are talking about what are my next research. Yes, I will just give you some hints. I'm not in a position to explain you on uh, uh, I mean, I'll not be able to give you 100% on what I'm doing. But anyway, my research has now gone into a different level, mainly on waste based construction. Now, fly ash and bottom has become a very I mean, very serious issue in the country, because of the Norway power plant. They burn. We need to have a coal power plant and we need more and more coal power plant to generate the energy need in the country. So because of that, there are many issues, especially environment related issues with fly ash and bottom mesh. So I'm doing some research on fly ash and bottom mesh to see the possibilities of making fly ash and bottom mesh as a construction material, or rather use them for making construction materials. That is another one research I'm doing, and the other one is there's another side of research, that is to uh, to do something with waste. Domestic waste and industrial waste is a real problem in the country. I mean, what was happened with media this waste mountain. I mean, it's a waste rock. So we are trying to find some solutions to that particular waste. The final target is to create 3D printing uh, with waste. So that is some other set of research I'm doing, and also I'm trying to find some alternative uh, say alternative binder or stabilizer for soil. So that's another research I'm doing, because there are many natural resins and chemicals where we can use as binders. If you go to Anuradhapura, if you go to a Polonnaruwa, they didn't had cement do these all marvelous constructions. So they had many natural materials. I'm not going to reinvent the past, but I'm trying to see the possible check the possible binders and some sort of chemicals to add to soil and get the same strength like what I'm getting with cement. So those are the current research activities I'm doing with my students, with my research team. Right. The next questions I'm getting many questions. Sometimes I may miss. I mean, if I missed a question, please put it again. I'll not be able to see them because it's going up. Ratnaik, how can you read your research papers? Yes, you can go to my research kit. There you have the full list of research articles which I have published. And if you need any particular research paper, full text papers, you can drop me a mail, and I will be able to send you the research full paper. Or else you can go to my Google Scholar site. There also you have the list of publications, and if you need any full paper, I'll be able to share that with you. Bhuvaneka, what is the best approach for research in terms of your experience? Trial and error. Nothing else. You try, but I mean, if you are a good researcher, I mean, okay. Let me brief you this way. Always, when you are finding a solution, you this is called problem posing education. I mean, that is what is lagging in the Sri Lankan education system. I was talking about this content based education at my first question. I mean, our education system is basically on content based. So my whole idea is to convert that content based education to problem posing education. So the problem, when you say problem posing education, when the way I think, it is like, you problem posing education, you have three steps. If someone give you a question, you should be able to understand the question. That is number one. It is good for research as well. Say, if you get the research question, you should be able to understand the research question. Then the number two, you should be able to find out what are the possible options to solve that particular problem. Even a research, you should be able to find what are the possible options. I mean, that again a challenge, right? You will not be able to get it from books, right? If you are getting that from the books, that means you are finding something which someone has already found, right? So you should be able to find out what are the possible options to find that particular answer. That is number two. Number three, go and find the answer. You get out of the options available, you get the best option and find the answer. Failing that, you go to the next option. That is trial and error. But to come up to that particular trial and error process, you have to follow another process. That is to understand the question. The next, to understand what are the possible options available. So that is the best. If if you ever think of doing a research, I think that is what I can advise you. I mean, if you want to go be a good researcher, you should be able to understand the problem, understand the options, and select the best option and answer find the solution. If you fail in that, you go to the next option. Right. What are the challenges you faced as a researcher in Sri Lanka? Well, I mean, I'm not going to give you the expected answer. Sometimes you may think, okay, I may say that I don't have enough money, I don't have the equipments available, I don't have the research funding available. But to tell you, I mean, we have everything in this particular I mean, if you think of Sri Lanka, we have everything. And someone may think that I may say that the government is not supporting the research. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that the government is not funding. I'm not going to say that the funds are not available. I'm not going to say that the research equipments and the grants are not available. They are there. Only, I mean, if you think of the barriers, there are only two. One is the attitude. We are not. We are all money oriented. Money oriented. I mean, we work with money oriented attitude. So I mean, that is one barrier. So if you really want to be upgrade the research culture, first thing you have to set your satisfaction level. Like I explained that earlier as well. The number two, or rather, this will be the number one, the jealousy, right? Jealousy is the number one issue in this particular country where the research will not be promoted so if you can set the attitudes of the researchers, and also if you can set the attitudes of the other people who are looking at them, especially if you can take the jealousy component out, I think we can make wonderful research in the country. So that is what I'm trying. I mean, those are the two the issues with the research with respect to Sri Lanka. I mean, if you take Sri Lanka, I think that is the best country in the world to do research on sustainable and tropical climatic. I mean, I'm a person who's doing a lot of research with tropical climatic conditions. Take the Sri Lankan climate. Within 2 to 300 kilometers, you'll be able to find all the temperatures from 10 centigrade to 35, 36 centigrades. I mean, you can't think of another country where you have that particular luxury. So I think this is the best country a person can ever think of doing sustainable, sustainable passive designs, and also research in terms of tropical climatic conditions. So we have everything, but only issue is this particular jealousy component. I mean, the seniors are not I mean interested in making the juniors to come up in the ladder. I mean, especially the teacher. I mean, you take that particular teacher, what you call the profession. I mean, that is the only profession in the world where you can do something by knowing the next party will definitely one day overtake you, right? Knowing that you are going and teaching, you are knowing that you go and support them, right? That is the only profession in the world. I mean, doing that particular service or teaching is a service. So if you can't believe, if you can't, if you can't be happy by knowing your kids will overtake you, I mean, it's a real disaster. So if you can take that particular jealousy component out from these universities, especially letting the youngers to come and perform in the system, I think you can uplift the research quality in the country. I think I answered your points. You have multiple options. How do you select the opportunity between? Sorry, if you have multiple options for resolve one single problem, how do you select the best option? Well, I was talking about these multiple options. Well, that is that. I mean, that you sometimes will not be able to achieve that from your own. So you need that is where you need the support of a good supervisor. So they have the experience. They will guide you. So always, if you have when you have multiple options, you go and search all the possible options. Go and discuss with your supervisor, because he became a supervisor because he knows how to achieve the target. So the best is to go and talk or get the support of the supervisor, or get the support of the mentor. Then you will be able to find out the best option out of many options available to find the answer. Beneath your question is, do you limit for researching in the certain areas, or you take the challenge of expand other? Well, research, when you say research, I told this before as well. Now, if you know the answer, there's nothing to research, right? You always go and research in new areas. So there's no limit. I mean, you can't say you should go and do research in civil engineering. You can go and work with electrical engineers and think of a sophisticated system or combined solution for civil and electrical. Sometimes you can, I'm doing research in educational development, educational sustainability as well. So whatever I get, if I have the interest, I'll definitely go and do the research. So that is the taste I have. I mean, don't ever restrict your research to a certain level. And always when I advise my students, especially my research students, I always tell them, don't ever be with the research you do for your postgraduate studies. Forget it. You leave that to your supervisor and go and find a new topic. So the reason is, I mean, then only you will start bringing new knowledge to the system, right? So if you are doing the same research as what your supervisor is doing, you will not be able. I mean, you will be able to go and win or be successful to a certain level. But more than that, I mean, if you can go and find a new research area, right? I think it's really wonderful. So you are going into a new area where you have it's normal and you have plenty of topics to study. So that is what you should do, and don't restrict to one particular research area. Try to explore everything as much as possible. If that particular research topic will make you, I mean, if that is going to make you satisfied, go and do it. I mean, there's no limit, right? You can't limit your research to one particular topic. I mean, that is what I believe. If I find something it is interesting and which can make me happy and satisfied, I'm going to definitely go and do that particular research. Right. As an experienced lecturer, what is the definition of an ideal student? Well, a very difficult question to answer. Ideal student. I mean, it can vary from the age you are living. So Ravindu, if you are not Ravindu, I mean, this is a very general question I got. I mean, if you refer this ideal student to this university education, I'll put it this way. I mean, I will more than I define this ideal student term, I'll put it in a broad way which everybody can understand. If you take the university undergraduate, right? I'm not going to refer this to the school students, right? If you take an undergraduate, if your objective is to get the first class or be the best top, get the degree and leave the university, I think you are a real failure in the system. There are many. I mean, when you say one thing, I always say Sri Lanka, we don't have universities. Those are those are teaching institutes, right? People can argue with me, people can challenge me, but this is what I believe. Sri Lankan universities are not really universities. We don't make undergraduates. We just give them the technical knowledge and they will go and practice in the industry. So it is not the real term of uh, university. So if you are a real undergraduate, if you want to leave the university as a graduate, I think you have to do a lot, right? You have to do a lot. You should do sports. You should do extracurricular activities like you should work with uh, club and societies. You should improve your leadership. You should improve your communication, because once you graduated, you should go and work with people. So you have to understand the people, right? To understand the people, you have to be with them, right? If you are just being with your book and the computer, you'll not be able to understand the people, right? By just watching a movie, you'll not be able to understand the human being. So you have to physically be with these people. So if you want to be a real student, ideal student, my advice is, yes, you need to think of be a top class graduate, that is by getting a first class or second upper or being the best top or the gold medalist. But that is really nothing. If you want to be the best top or the first class, study for 1 or 2 months, you'll be able to get a first class. I mean, I'm a first class person, so I know how to get a first class. But if you want to be a good real graduate, it is not that easy. I mean, you are a political person. When you come to the university, you are a real political. Now, when I say political, right? Politics, that is not the party politics which you and I talking. When you say politics, again, my belief, right? I think if you want to do politics, you should stand by you on your own beliefs. You should be able to believe on something. You should be able to justify your beliefs. And if someone challenge you, and if his view is finally found that as correct, you should be able to respect that view, right? So that is the politics in my terms. I mean, that is the politics which I believe. So you should be a political person. You should show your leadership. You should do sports activities, right? And the affections. I mean, you try to be with people, even try to come up with a cross affection, right? So I mean, that makes the ideal student. Not by getting, I mean, by getting a first class degree, you will not be able to make a real undergraduate. So I think I answered your point. Bhagya, what is your opinion about the quality of Sri Lankan higher education system, especially about the private sector? You mean you are you talking about the private education, private university? I think that is what you are referring. Well, to tell you at the very first, I mean, I should tell you this. I mean, I'm a person who never teach in private universities. But when I say I'm not teaching in private university, that doesn't mean that I'm against privatization. Because as a person from this particular state sector, I found a lot of issues. I mean, the state sector, we need to save the state sector, because that is the only option available for a poor to climb up, right, and become a successful person in the world. So we should protect. I mean, we all, myself and many of you, are basically outcome, or you got the value, or you got the essence of this particular the state free education system in the country. So we have to save that. But if you ever think of saving that particular free education in the country, I personally believe, I'm very sure there will be many thousands of people will challenge me. There will be thousands who can challenge me. But I personally believe we need to have this particular private education in the country, because they can challenge the state sector, and based on that challenge, we will be able to upgrade our the state sector. Because now the current problem is no one is challenging us. Our person always came to this particular level with the challenges I got in my life. So I still believe, I still want people to challenge me. If they do that, only I'll be able to go and be successful in my life. So I always love the challenges. So I love like to have the same challenge for the state sector. If they do it, if we get the challenge from the private sector, we'll be able to be successful in our career as state sector, and we'll be able to upgrade our state sector to this particular so-called international level. So my only worry in this particular private education now, it is just selling for money. The degree is just freely available. Those who have money, just they can pay and get the education without the quality. So if whether it is state or private, we should maintain the quality. I'm not going to specifically say this is private or state. We should maintain the quality of education. So if you can maintain the quality of the education, I mean, I don't mind whether it is private or state. Whoever wants to, get the degree, you have the place to get a proper and a quality degree. So that is what I can tell about this the private sector. I mean, I just state it in a very general form. Quality is a must. I don't mind whoever I mean fund for the education. Even the state sector, I mean, it is not free, right? USA or UK or even India will not come and fund for education. It is us, right? The poor, the citizens of this country has spent on education, so we can't say it is free, right? So unless we give that particular message to the students, they will think this is free, and they will just waste the opportunity they got. So they have to understand this is paid by the poor of this particular country. So if you can pass that particular message, then they will understand their I mean their role in the country, and they will understand their duty. So they will start thinking of paying back to the citizens of the country, and to the country as a whole. So that is what I can tell you about the education in the Sri Lankan education system. So I think I answered your question, Bhagya. Dinet, how many researchers do you target at a time? Well, there's no limit actually. Whoever comes and whoever comes with qualities. When I say qualities, I'm not going to check whether they are first class or gold medal students, but always I'm getting the best out of the best to do research with me. Currently, I have one, two, three, four, yeah, five PhDs and one MPhil and two MSc students working, three MSc students working with me. So that is my research pool, and I have six undergraduate students from Rumuna Agri faculty. They full time working with me. So altogether, it's a big research team, research pool working for many aspects. But finally, they are working as a team. I mean, they are not really working with only with their topic. So they're working, they're supporting each other, and they are working as a team. So I mean, I have enough students to share my knowledge and work with. What is your opinion about? Yeah, I answered. Do you believe in focus? Yes. I mean, we have to be focused always. Whenever whatever you do, you should be focused. You have to work with a very object-oriented mind. So you have to be focused. I mean, otherwise you'll not be able to be a successful person. Whatever you do, whether it's a sport activity, art and tradition. I mean, whatever you do, even your family life, right? You should be very focused. I mean, you otherwise you'll not be able to be successful in your life. If you're just doing here and things here and there, I mean, you'll be able to live, but you are not really a successful person. So I'm always work with my targets. I mean, from even when I was at the school, I had targets, different targets in my life. So I was a person who was achieving the targets, but I mean, certain targets I lost. I mean, I could say I can't say that I achieved almost all the targets in my life, but I failed at some points. But well, failures are. I mean, they are another set of another in another way. Those are successful stories in the life, because once you fail, you will not try the same. So, but make sure you work with a focused mind. So that will make you a successful person in whatever you do. What are the best books that you have read, and how are they help for your personality? Well, I'm a very well I'm a very bad reader. I don't read much, but whenever I found interesting stories about one very good person I always value, the Abdul Kalam, the former Indian president. So I mean, it was a very marvelous character in my life, and Fidel Castro was another interesting person. So like that, I always love to read his inspiration stories about life stories about these key people. So I think they may have helped me to come to this. But more than that, I mean, I'm a person who always experience things. So whenever I go somewhere, I try to learn from that particular person, right? I mean, it's not about reading, it's not about listening to what they talk, but at least if we can, by looking or by talking, sometimes by just uh, hearing on what they talk with someone else, you'll be able to learn from them. So in a way, I have that particular habit. I have a sometimes I say that I have a bad habit of reading people. So I read them, and I sometimes I copy it. I mean, in engineering, I always tell my students, okay, you copy. Copy is the best learning tool available to become a good engineer, good researcher sometimes, right? But copying is not that just copy and paste, right? That is what we do. Many of our students, they just copy and paste. But my copying is slightly different. You copy, you make that yours, and then apply. That is what I do. So all characters, all or anybody who I met, I always read them and learn from them, make that mine, and apply. So that made me successful in my life, I believe. Did I miss any question? What are the best books? Yes, I think I answered to that particular question. How can I go back and read any missed questions? Anybody? Any question? Yeah, there was one question I missed. Gayanchit, any idea on the? Yeah, I think I answered that point. Let me tell you. Yeah, there's another. Some even thought some students have pretty good innovative ideas. Many hesitated to take a risk and go implementing that idea. Do you have any advice on this regard? Well, for undergraduates, sometimes even though some students have pretty good innovative ideas, many hesitate. Well, that is the issue with Sri Lankan students. I mean, they are really brainy. I'm repeating over and over. Our students are really brainy, right? We can't find issues with our students, especially with their brains. I mean, but only thing is they are reluctant to go and try out things, right? They're scared of trying out things. I mean, that is basically we can't blame them because that is something which came from their school I mean the education system in the country, so we can't blame the student. So we have to, I mean, if you think of changing this, we should go to grade 1 at the school, and we should be able to change the curriculums and mesh and align that with international benchmarking, and to make them more and more critical thinking students. So I'm not going to touch that, but what I wanted to tell is, I mean, always, if you have a creative idea, don't worry. I mean, whether it's a successful thing or will be successful or fail, you should go and try. So that is my advice. I mean, that is how I came to this particular point. So I think if anybody has some pretty good innovative idea, go and try out, do it. Go and try and see whether you can do something. And always the next idea is always go and find the best person who can guide you. I mean, it can be a friend of yours, can be a lecturer, or some outside who knows about the subject, and who has the same sense as you. That is very important, right? when you're when you're working with someone, you should be able to work with work with him by understanding the person. I mean, if you just go and start working with a person who you can't understand, it's a real disaster. So always, if you have some innovative idea, so find a person who can guide you, who can share your experience, and who can trust you, right? So then you will be able to take your innovative idea to the next level. How would you like the world to remember you in the future? Well, I like people not remembering me because I'm a very simple person, and a very humble person in my life. I always, whenever I feel I want to uh, clear my mind, I take my cameras and I go to the jungle and be with animals. So I'm having a very different and a uh, very simple life, and I always say I'm different, and I want to maintain this particular difference throughout my life. So if anybody wants to remember me in the future, I love them to remember me as a teacher. When I say teacher, I think I explained this before as well. When I say teacher, a teacher is a person who can teach, who can guide someone, knowing that particular person will one day overtake you. So if you can remember me as a person, as a teacher in real terms, I think that is what I can say. I mean, that is what I can think now. I mean, yeah, I love to be a teacher. I love to be in your minds as a teacher. You're doing great job. Yes, thanks. Any questions? Anything I missed? Well, I mean, I need to tell you something about myself, and I was telling you about you know. I always believe. Yeah, we'll put it this way. I mean, I'm a person who always respect. and value myself. Right? That is I always say when I go to a lecture, when I go and talk with my students, I always start talking about myself and how I came to this particular point. Then I value my qualities. The values and the talents which I have is totally different to what you have. So if I can value the talents I have, I'll be able to value you. The problem in this particular country is you don't know the values you have and you are not valuing what you have. Then what will ultimately happen is you will not be able to value someone else and you will feel jealous on that particular person. So finally, you are suffering, and not only you, because of your reaction, that person will suffer. So if you can value, if you can value the talents you have, whatever the talents you have, you'll not be able to, we will not be able to measure each and every person with the same yardstick. You need to have different yardstick, different level, different, markings to grade people. So I'm an engineer, so I should be valued in a different way than a person who's cleaning the city. So I mean, all these people who are really in this, everybody in the world, in this particular world, they have a value. The person who's sweeping or the cleaning the city is much more important than an engineer and a doctor. So we have to respect that particular person. So we should, until we start respecting the other party, you'll not be able to get the respect back. So the two advices I can give you: you respect, you value yourself, then you will be able to value someone else. You will not, if you can't value you, you will not be able to value someone else. You will feel jealous. That is number one. The number two, make sure you value people more than what they do. More, I mean, you value their qualities, human attitudes. So if you can do that, this world will be a wonderful place. So that I think I need to tell you. I mean, this is a marvelous. I mean, you didn't come to this particular world to live forever. You are dying, right? You are dying. There's, I mean, I'm a Buddhist, but still I say that there's nothing called good or bad in this world. So you try to do whatever possible under the sun to make you happy. Fine, but don't ever hurt someone by doing, by to make you happy. I mean, I think I made it clear. So you can do anything under the sun to make you happy, right? But don't ever hurt someone to achieve your satisfaction. So if you can be with that, you will be a happy person in your life. That's another message I want to give you. I mean, to answer some of the questions you stated. What is the motto in your life? Yes, I always say, don't pray for the best, but try for the best. Don't pray for the best, but try for the best. I mean, don't ever expect things to come to you, but you try for it and win it. Don't pray for the best, but try for the best. I think I answered your point. What is the motto in your life? Don't pray for the best, but try for the best. I always be with that particular motto, and I think I'm in a way, achieve that. I'm always working for that, and I think I'm with that particular motto always. Did I missed anything? Any more questions? Anybody who wants to link with me in Sinhala? කාට හරි මාත් එක්ක සිංහලෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න ඕන නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට සිංහල වචන ටික ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් හරි ටයිප් කරලා එවන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට මට පුළුවන් වෙයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට සිංහලෙන් උත්තරයක් දෙන්න. මම කියන්නේ නෑ මම I'm the කියලා, but I'm one of them. So මම හිතන්නේ මම තමයි මම අර නිකම් මම පොරක් වෙන්න උත්සාහ කරන මිනිස්සෙක් නෙමෙයි. නමුත් මම මගේ ජීවිතේ ඉතාමත්ම සරලව ජීවත් වෙන්න උත්සාහ කරන මිනිස්සෙක්. මම හරි කැමතියි මගේ ජීවිතේ satisfaction නැත්නම් මගේ සතුටත් එක්ක ජීවත් වෙන්න. මං හිතන්නේ මට උමනාවක් නෑ මට කෙනෙකුට රිද්දවලා ඒ සතුට ලබන්න. ඉතින් මං හිතනවා මම ඒක තමයි මගේ ජීවිතය කරගෙන මම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ මම ගොඩක් ආසයි කණ්ඩායමක් එක්ක ජීවත් වෙන්න. මොකද මම මේ කරපු හැම දෙයක්ම වගේ මම achieve කරේ මගේ කණ්ඩායමක් එක්ක. මේ හැමදේම මම මගේ especially මගේ research team එක, මගේ දැන් ඉන්න research students වගේම මගේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා හිටපු research students මම හිතන්නේ ඒ හැම කෙනෙක්ම මගේ මම උදව් කරා කියලා මට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද මගේ හැම කෙනෙකුටම මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි මම හිතන්නේ මම සුතිවන්ත වෙන්න ඕනේ මට මට මාව මේ තත්ත්වෙට එන්න මේ ප්‍රෙස් කරපු මිනිස්සුන්ට වඩා මේ තත්ත්වෙට එන්න මට උදව් කරපු මිනිස්සුන්ට වඩා මට චැලෙන්ජ් කරපු මගේ මගේ අදහස් වලට විරුද්ධ මත දරපු මට මාව යම්කිසි විදියකට වටන්න උත්සාහ කරපු මිනිස්සු හින්දා මේ තත්ත්වයට ආවා කියලා මට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද ඒගොල්ලොන් ඒ දේ කරන්න මම හිතන්නේ මම ලොකු ධෛර්යයක් ලැබුවා මගේ ජීවිතේ. ඒකත් එක්ක මම මේ තත්ත්වයට ආවා කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් කවුරු හරි කෙනෙකුට සිංහලෙන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න පුළුවන් නම් මම කැමතියි ඒගොල්ලොන් එක්ක ඒගොල්ලොන් එක්ක මගේ පුංචි අදහසක් ෂෙයා කරගන්න. Would you like to get into politics? What do you mean by politics? I mean, I was explaining you what I believe as politics. Yes, I'm a politician, right? In my definition, right? When I say a politician, you should be able to believe or stand on you. I mean, you should be able to stand on the beliefs, right? I should not be led by someone else, right? If you are a real politician, you should not be led by someone else. You should be able to be with your politics, be with your beliefs. So I should be, and also I should be able to justify what I believe. And if someone challenges me and if someone proves that I'm wrong, I should be able to believe that. So if you are talking about that particular politics, yeah, I'm still, even now I'm doing politics. But if you think of this particular party politics in the country, never ever. I mean, you want me to go and, I mean, be a part of that particular foolish, that dirty culture? No, never ever. But in real terms, we are all politicians. So I mean, you believe what you do, and you defend on what you believe, and basically, I mean, you should be able to accept someone ever challenge you. So that is politics. So I think I'm doing. And always don't blame these politicians. I mean, don't try to. I mean, this is again something I'm always telling my students, and whenever I go, I always tell this thing as well. I mean, don't ever blame these politicians. I mean, I think if you think of the current situation in the country, I think the more than the politicians, the professionals are responsible, right? Especially the academic community. When I say academic community, the reason is I think the academics are the only group who can stand on their own, right? On their own. The reason is the academics or the lecturers are only, I think they are the only set of people who will be recruited to the workplace, right? The government sector, if you are recruited, you are transferable. You can be sent to any university. But I was recruited to University of Moradua. I cannot be transferred to another university. So you are independent. You have the autonomy. You have the freedom to talk openly. So and you have the brain. So don't ever blame these foolish politicians. So if this country has come to this particular point, and if you are not happy with this particular setup, that is mainly because of this professional crowd. You are not talking. We are not talking. I'm not talking, and you are not talking. And finally, we blame these poor politicians because after forgetting our duty. So if you can go and pinpoint and say that what you are doing is wrong, right, and this is the right thing, I think you can change the world. You can change the country. But we are not doing that. We go and just just work for them for peanuts. That is again because even the professionals are trying to be satisfied with money, right? Even the professionals are trying to be satisfied with money. But let's say your satisfaction is to buy a good car. If your satisfaction is to have a good luxury house, I can't see a difference between you and the politicians, the professionals and the politicians. The professionals should set the targets of the country, not the politicians. Now what has happened? The politicians are guided, the professionals are guided by the politicians, but that should not be the way. The politicians should be guided by the professionals. That is not happening in the country. That is again because these professionals, so-called professionals, just go and beg for positions and money. So, I mean, not the politicians, but the professionals should be blamed for what has happened to the country. Yes, anything I missed? What are the barriers you are facing as the university election? Well, I think I answered your point, Prabhani. Well, again, I mean, the berry is not money, berry is not the equipment, berry is not the funding, right? Berry is the attitude. And this jealousy mentality of the academics in the system. They never let a person to come up. They are not really teachers. I mean, I was giving you the definition of a teacher. Teacher is a person who can teach, who can transfer their knowledge, knowing the student will one day pass you. So that is the teacher, the definition of the teacher. But many of the lecturers in the system are not really teachers. So they feel jealous. They never let the juniors to overtake them, right? And they will anyhow try to put them down, right? So that is the barrier to become a good research in this particular system, to perform, in this particular education system, especially the state sector. You need to have that particular competition and the challenge. But the jealousy is not the competition. Jealousy is not the challenge, right? Right? If you feel jealous, that is not that you are giving the competition and the challenge, right? So that is what is happening in the system. So I mean, it's really sad. If you can change that particular aspect, I'm very sure we'll be able to change the system. As professional, I don't think we have a place here. Well, Helena, I mean, again, it's a bad thought. I mean, we don't be negative. Don't feel negative. I think you have a place. The good example is this recent Pearls Award. I mean, the country is in a time we don't have good news. I mean, if you turn on the TV, you go to internet, you go and read a newspaper, it's full of corruption, the funerals, the accidents, right? No good news, right? Or everywhere you go, it's politics. But you can remember how much attention was given to this particular Toyo's award, which I won. I mean, with that, I feel like we have a place in the country. But only thing is we are not really optimizing. We are not really using that particular opportunity we have. So if you are negative minded, you'll not be able to achieve this. So be positive. I think we have a place and we have a duty to do here. Only thing is, don't ever believe these politicians, right? Who do your duty. Duty is to give them the direction, right? Whoever comes, whatever the party, but the professionals should be professionals, right? We can't work with we will not be able to work with this particular political setup, but you have to be with your politics, believe your politics, and stand on your own. To stand on your own, right? Say you want to be a good leader. There are two things which I believe always, right? If you want to be a real professional leader in the country, you need to have two things. Two things. Number one is you need to have a backbone, right? You need to have a backbone. That is not about your strength and the height, right? That is about your knowledge. If you want to have a good backbone, if you want to be a good leader, you need to have a good backbone. To have that particular backbone, you need to have two things. One is you should be knowledgeable. You should have to have the knowledge about what you are talking. That is number one. Number two, your hands should be clean and clear. So if your hands are clean and clear, and if you know the subject, that will give you the backbone, and that will make you the leader. So if you can make that particular thing, you will get the chance in this particular country, in this society. So make it, be positive, and try to achieve your targets. But make sure you have the knowledge, right? And you have clean and clear hands. Then you are a successful person. What do you think about the Sri Lankan politics? I don't want to talk about the Sri Lankan politics. It's really dirty. It's really dirty. I'm very very sorry to say it's I don't want to talk about these dirty politics. They're simple fools, right? But don't worry about the Sri Lankan politics. Try to change it. Why are you always be negative and try to be with these foolish politicians, right? Be on your own and try to change the system. You can do it. You are the brains in the world. You are the brains in the country. If you say no, if you still believe on these politicians, if you still start believing the politics in the country, I mean, who's going to save the country? Who's Are you really doing your duty? Because you were fed and you were brought to this particular place by the poor of this particular country, because they knew that they can't go and represent these places. They fed you, they brought you up, and they made you to go and represent them at this forum. So do it. right? Don't try to blame these politicians, and I mean, forget the politics. Be with your own beliefs, be with your politics, and try to do something to the country. But then just try to criticize and try to be optimistic, right? More than that, try to do something. Start with a small thing, and finally, you will, without knowing, you may have done a big change to the world, big change to the country. Do it. Be positive. Don't be ever negative. I mean, you are the brains in the country. So you have to make the change. You have to make the difference. Don't ever think the politicians will give the direction. You should set the direction and they will follow you. Don't let them to make the directions and you to follow. You set the directions and let them to follow you. What is your stance on time? I mean, why are we worrying about this item matter? I mean, this is all politics. I don't want to talk about this item matter. I mean, you talked about the entire private education system in the country. Why this item? How many engineering faculties, private engineering faculties in the country? How many places where they give commerce degrees, art degrees, humanity degrees? Why it is only item? I'm always fighting for the quality. Whoever gives a very bad quality education in the country, whether it is private or state, I'm going to fight against them. And I love the challenge. I was telling this over and over. But only thing is medical education, they deal with human beings, right? So we have to make the quality. We have to maintain the quality. To maintain the quality, you need to have good intake, right? And good standard education system. So if you can set up that, whether it's item or any other place, I don't mind, because that will give the challenge to the state sector, and that will let the state sector to grow. I mean, I'm telling that because we have serious issues than fighting against the private education in the country. Because you think about the state sector, you first save your state sector. I'm a person who was fighting to save and safeguard the state sector, because I was born and I was taught by the poor of this particular country. So I'm fighting for that. I'm always talking about the state sector than talking about private sector, because that is something we should go and save, right? That is for the next generation. That is for the future. That is for the poor of this particular people. So we, more than we go and fight against the next door, we'll think and we'll try to sort our issues in our state sector. So that is what I'm doing. I don't mind what others do. I mean, if they want to get the, and also let them to go and challenge themselves. I mean, beat each other, right? If you are qualified, right? If you are the best, why you worry about these other people, right? Why are you worrying? So make your qualities, right? Set your targets, achieve the best out of best. Then I mean, you do not worry about this private education in the country. I'm a person who never go and teach in private universities, so I have this particular courage of telling this thing. Let them challenge us. We are ready to get the challenge, because the state universities are the best in the country, and we can be the best in the world. So we'll make it. We'll get together and we'll make it. We'll go for it, right? I mean, you support us. I mean, I'm a person who always giving my fullest 100% commitment to the state sector. You say help us. We'll first make that particular state education to the world standard. No worries. Don't worry about the competitors. I mean, if you start worrying about the competitors and focus on that, you will lose the real focus. That is the state sector. They will die day by day, right? So focus to the real focus, the point, and that will make you success. And finally, that will make the country a success. Do you think advanced level examination is 100% fair way of check the? No, no way. No way. I don't think. I mean, this particular, not the advanced level, even the grade five. That's what I was talking about. These content based to problem posing education. I think we have to change the curriculums, and also we have to change the way we evaluate the students. I mean, I'm with that. I think there are many discussions happening in, especially at the National Institute of Education and Education Ministry level, to change the education system in the country, to uh, to change the evaluation, and also to evaluation and assessment, and also the curriculums, to I mean more to make it more relevant, to I mean giving more focus to problem posing education. I mean, one thing is we should leave away with this island concept, island mentality, right? So we are island, we are island. Sri Lanka is an island, but still we have to be with the world standard, world benchmarking. So we had to get whatever said and done. We had to make sure our education is benchmarked with other developed countries. So I think that is something we have to think. We have to study the other models of these developed countries, especially. I mean, before we start thinking of US, UK, at least if you can think of how the Singapore, Malaysia, even the Korea. I mean, 10 years, 10, 15 years ago, this the shanty places we say Korea. Now what has happened? Korea has developed. They passed us, but they are still at the same place. So if you really thought of achieving the success, I think we should go and study these developed country the models, the education systems. I think we should definitely think of evaluating methods and also the curriculums, especially targeting problem posing than content based education. I think that definitely that we should do. Well, did I miss anything? Well, Varuni, do you ever get stressed with your work? Yes, of course. I mean, stress is very beautiful. I mean, unless you are stressed, you are not living. You have to feel the stress. Stress. I never believe depression in my life. I never believe this particular symptom, depression. I never depressed, but I stressed. I always work with stress. But the best. Let me read your next part. If so, what do you do to manage your stress? And you said you do sports, photography. Have they ever helped? Yes, of course. That is what I want to tell you. I mean, I think when you think of managing stress, the best tool I had was doing sports. Even now I'm playing. I'm still playing. Tuesdays and Thursdays evening, I always committed to sports. So that is a place where helped me to manage my stress and also to understand the failures. Right? I never said I successful with every attempt I made. So I failed at different places, but still I knew how to manage that particular thing. So sport is a wonderful, say, a hobby where you can ever think of managing your stress. And the photography, right? I mean, it is a marvelous habit, marvelous hobby you can ever think of releasing your stress. Whenever I feel I'm loaded with work, I pack my camera and I go to the jungle. Now, even now, when you and I talking here, your mind is working somewhere and my mind is working somewhere else. So I may think of my kids, whether they had dinner, my wife, right? I'm thinking a lot of things while I'm chatting with you. But if you take your camera, go to a jungle, say you went to a Vilpattu, you went to Yala, and you are watching or you are searching for a leopard, right? You have to forget everything, and focus to that. You are looking at that particular point and you are waiting till that particular leopard crossing that particular point. If you miss that particular few seconds, it's a real disaster. So the photography is the best tool which I have to release the stress. So if you want to give or if you want to teach your kids with the best hobby, I think the best I can recommend is photography. Teach them, teach them how to use a camera and let them to feel the nature, and especially if you can teach them to be with especially wildlife photography, I think that is the best tool for you to think of releasing your stress and the pain. So I think I'm very much enjoying that, and I think I'm with that helps me to release my stress. Okay, I was with you more than 1 hour now, 1 hour and 17 minutes. Any more questions? There are many more joining with me. I can see there are many who join this. Any more questions? Yeah, there's another one. What is your opinion about is the public and private contribution in quality education in Sri Lanka? Well, I believe this public and private partnership or PPP model. But only thing is, especially with the state sector, we have to work with limits. I mean, the state sector is, I mean, state sector should be responsible to the public because they are the people who are funding us. So we should work with the private sector. We should get partner with the private sector, but we have to have the clear margins, right? Whatever we do, we should have to have the clear margins. So we can't survive, we can't sustain without the private sector. We need to work with the private sector. It is a must, especially things especially related to engineering education. I think without the private sector you can't survive, right? So you need to have the private sector collaboration with the state universities. But when you are joining and when you have some sort of a joint venture, I think you have to be very mindful with the funding source, the state funding source, that is the citizens of the country. So you have to make sure you are responsible to them for what you are doing. So if you can achieve that, I don't mind the universities, especially the education institute, getting partner with the private institutes and private sector. I think that should be. I mean, without the private sector, we can't survive. We have to work with them, and also, I mean, that is something where which can bring the new knowledge. Engineering is ever changing subject, right? You can't teach the same content in another 10 years time, or even within next year. When you go to the next year class, you should come up with some new knowledge. So for that you need to work with the industry. So I always encourage the academics and the students. I mean, even while they're studying, I like them to go and work with the industry. All my postgraduate students, I love them to go and work with the industry, because I mean that is something they can which allow them to be with the modern and day-to-day technology. So the universities, they should be with the private sector. The PPP, private public private partnership, is a must to develop the state sector. And also the university academics, I highly recommend them to go and work with the private sector. That will bring the knowledge. When I say work with the private sector, right, work with the private sector, that is not for money. I mean, you definitely, they will be pay you. I mean, you will be paid by the private sector, but you should go there for knowledge, not for money. I mean, that is the difference between an academic and a person who's working in industry. So I always tell my colleagues, I mean, if you want to earn money, don't ever cross the university gate. If you want to be a good lecturer, try to be satisfied with teaching. Try to be satisfied with doing research. Try to be satisfied with doing a good publication, and try to be satisfied with being with students. So if you are coming and trying to be a lecturer in a state education, or not even state, I mean education related institute, if you go and try to be a lecturer there, and if your satisfaction is only to earn money, please don't come to the state sector. Please don't come to the education sector. Try to go and find some other job, because there are many places where you can earn money. You can earn millions. But if you can be happy by doing a lecture, if you can be happy by being with students, if you can be happy by teaching. When I say teaching, not the subject content, but the life, right? And if you can be happy by doing a research, if you can be happy by doing a publication, try to come and be a lecturer, because you have I mean, if that the university or the academic sector will be the best place for you to be a successful person. But if your satisfaction is to earn money, please don't cross the university gate. You have enough place outside, and go and earn money as much as you want. What is your opinion about yeah, I think I answered that particular point. Yeah, any more questions? I'm reaching to the 1.5 hours. Now I'm almost 1 hour and 22 minutes with you all. Any more questions? Anybody who wants to share my experiences? No new questions. Let me see whether I missed anything. Let me go back to Dinet questions on how many researchers do you target at a time. I said I don't have such targets, but if you can find a set who can work the way you think, I mean that is not to follow you, right? When I say work as I think, that is not, I mean, I'm not very clearly asking them to follow me. I need to have very constructive dialogue there. But they should be able to understand you, right? If you have that sort of a people, the numbers are not really matters, right? The numbers are not really matters. So you are working as a team, you have a lot of arguments within the team, but you are working for the success. Then there you don't have a limitation in the number. I think I missed that very clear point in it. I think I answered your point now. Uh, What is your advice for your for an undergraduate? I think I answered to that particular point. Anyway, let me stress the points again. My advice is never ever target the degree, right? Never ever target the final outcome. Never ever measure your final outcome in terms of your degree certificate. If you want to be a good undergraduate, there are a lot to perform at the university level. You should study, of course. I mean, you have to, you should try for the first class, or be in the best shop. I'm not going to say don't do it, but you can, I mean, university will be the starting point for your politics. You do politics, you show your leadership, you do sports, you start creating links, you start, you make your social network, you make the social relationships. I think that will make you a better undergraduate than just leaving a person who just have the degree certificate. I think if you want me to advise the undergraduate, try everything, do everything parallel, because that will make you a real undergraduate. Otherwise, you will not feel the university, and you will just feel a technical college where you will get the technical competency, only technical competency. So if you want to be a good undergraduate, try to do everything. So any more questions? Let me see whether I missed anything. Okay. Any well, what is internal path would be? I'm getting few more questions. If there is one thing to remember from this session, what is that? Well, if there's one thing to remember from this session, what is that? I will be with my motto. Please never ever pray for the best, but try for the best. I think that is something you can remember. So you can use that to remember me, and also you can use that to remember this particular session. There are two more questions. What is the initial path to you suggest to graduated, and if the primary motive is making money? I couldn't get your point, Sean. What initial path would you suggest a graduate young engineer if the primary motive is money? Well, if your primary motive is money, go and earn money. Don't worry. I mean, I'm not going to disappoint you. If you're, I mean, be with your satisfaction. If your satisfaction is to earn money, go and earn money. I'm not going to stop you. But I said that is not my satisfaction, right? If you want to earn money, go and earn money. No issue, nothing at all. You go and earn money, because if that is what make you happy, do it. The next question, Taranga, what do you think studying English? Well, it is a must, right? I was talking about these international, I mean, being international, globally recognized. If you want, I mean, we can't produce graduate to suit the Sri Lankan industry, because we are in a global village now, because we can't produce people, or even we can't produce a good to just target in the Sri Lankan market. If you do that, it's a real failure. So you have to be a international recognized graduate. For that, you need to have the English. But if you want to be a good. English is just a language. Without English, you can be successful. You go to Korea, you go to Japan, you go to China. They don't use English, but they are really successful. The reason is they communicate well, right? By using hands and legs, they start communicating. Do it. Don't worry about English. If you made a mistake in Sinhala, no one will laugh, and they will take you as a posh person. If you start talking as you don't know Sinhala, then they will recognize you as a posh person. But if you made a mistake in English, they will laugh at you. That is the bad culture in the country. Don't worry about these people. You start communicating. Forget these barriers, right? English is just a language for you to communicate, right? If you can communicate, I'm a civil engineer. More than speaking English, more than even speaking, my communication language, let's say if I can take a piece of broken brick, and if I can draw something on the board and let the person have to understand what is in my mind, that is communication. Don't be feel shy. Don't be feel scared when you are talking, right? Either English or Sinhala or even your hands and legs, make sure you pass the message, right? So, but to be a good graduate, especially the internationally recognized graduate, you need to have English. Because if you are going and talking to a person who can't understand what you say, it's a useless discussion. So if you want to be a world class recognized person, you need to have English. But but to become a good successful person in the world or in the country, English is not a barrier. That barrier is you are not communicating, you are not expressing your views. If you can express that, fine, go ahead and do it. Don't worry about English. I think I answered your point, Taranga. Well, I think I answered to all the questions raised by you. I hope I made you happy, and I think I shared my life experience. I'm telling I'm not a big person, but uh, I should say I'm successful because I'm happy, right? I'm successful not because I won the award. I'm successful not because I want all the recognition by the world. I'm successful because I'm a happy person, right? I'm a satisfied person. So that makes me happy, and that makes me successful in my life. So I think I shared my life experience, and I think I gave some advices. I'm not going to ask you to believe on me. You always argue. You on your own. You start arguing on what you do, especially when I was telling copying and pasting, right? If you want to be a successful person, try to and be ready with copying and pasting. Copying and pasting means not just copy and paste. You copy and make yourself and apply. So that is what I was telling you. So and always be with a very positive mind. Don't be negative. Don't worry about what others says. People can criticize you. Forget it. Who cares, right? Who cares? You just forget them. You go for your target. You achieve, you go there, and when you go there, you will realize that whoever criticize you, whoever crash your back, they are real failures, right? They will start talking bad on you because they start feeling that you are a threat, right? Don't forget that. They will start talking bad on you because they do that because they felt you are a real threat to them. So don't worry, just forget them. You go to the target and you achieve it, and make sure you are happy and satisfied. I told you there's nothing called good or bad in this world. You do anything under the world, under the sun, to make you happy, but make sure you don't hurt anybody. You don't do anything to make you satisfied by making someone uncomfortable. So don't do that. So, you know, without doing, you can do anything under the sun. And also, my last advice and last few words: don't ever try for the best, but try for the best. I think I answered to all the questions. What do you think, Sri Lankan culture? We are a nation with wonderful culture. But the only thing is we forget our culture, live with culture. I mean, the culture is we had a nice culture where we always respect others. We always value others. We always value ourselves. We value the other person. So that made our culture. I think we should go back and search our culture, Sri Lankan culture. Be with that, and always don't try for the best, but try for the best. Thank you very much. Goodbye.